Welcome to the step-by-step activation guide for S4GA LED PAPI 6.6 amp systems. In this video, we'll walk you through the correct procedure to safely power on and test your PAPI system, equipped with a control box. This is a critical procedure to verify that each unit operates properly before commissioning the entire system. Ensure that the LED PAPI 6.6 amp system is operated using a compatible CCR from the following types: a thyristor CCR, a ferroresonant CCR, and an IGBT CCR. Before energizing the system, ensure the CCR's power supply is configured correctly. The maximum permissible input voltage for the 6.6 amp PAPI power supply is as follows. The peak steady-state AC or DC voltage at the power supply input must not exceed 200 volts. And the RMS voltage limit is 141 volts. Additionally, the power supply is designed to withstand short input voltage pulses exceeding these values, provided that their levels and durations comply with Section 4.7.3.4 of the International Electrotechnical Commission. These limitations ensure compliance with safety regulations and protect the power supply from potential damage. Verify the CCR output levels match the required current steps for your system, depending if you are using 3-step or 5-step operating mode. Incorrect CCR configuration may result in unstable system behavior or even hardware damage. For thyristor-based CCRs, confirm the tapping is set to 100% CCR power output, regardless of the CCR's rated output. This setting ensures stable operation. If you are using an PAPI configuration, only 2 isolation transformers are required, one for each projector unit. This setup is sufficient to power both units and ensure proper operation of the abbreviated system. If you have the full PAPI configuration, then exactly 4 isolation transformers are required when using single-cable PCUs, 1 transformer per PCU. If your system is equipped with dual-cable PCUs, then 8 isolation transformers are required, 2 transformers per PCU, 1 for the primary power circuit and 1 for the secondary. Ensure the power cables connecting the CCR to the isolation transformers meet the following requirements. The current loop cable must have a cross-section of at least 6 square millimeters. The total cable length should exceed 1,000 meters. Ensure that the insulated power cables used are properly shielded and grounded. This prevents current leaks or potential short circuits resulting in damage. Do not apply any additional grounding to the CCR or PAPI system. If the current loop is shorter than 1,000 meters, consider installing a series compensating inductor to ensure proper circuit impedance and reliable operation. Ensure the entire system is completely powered down, disconnect it from any power source before proceeding. This is essential for safe inspection and installation. Start by inspecting the complete system wiring. Confirm that the CCR is properly connected to the main power source. Verify that the isolating transformers are wired correctly in their allocated circuits. For a 2-cable PCU, ensure each transformer is connected correctly to its allocated primary or secondary circuit. Ensure that each transformer is correctly linked to its designated PCU, either 1 or 2 per projector depending on your setup. Finally, check that every PCU is securely connected to its corresponding LED PAPI projector. Check whether each PCU includes the mandatory voltage absorbers, also referred to as limiters. Additionally, confirm that no unauthorized grounding has been added to the PAPI system. Before enabling manual mode, all communication wires must be removed from all power control units. Ensure the CCR is turned off and no power is supplied to the system before performing this procedure. Do not attempt to loosen or remove the wires while the connector is still inserted in the PCU. Always disconnect and remove the connector first before working on the wiring. Pull the safety latch outward. Use a screwdriver with a bit adapter and AT20 bit. Unscrew the 2 security screws. The screws will remain in place and won't fall out even when loosened. After both screws are loosened, lift the cover. It should come off easily without resistance. Start by carefully removing the connector by using a set of pliers. Once the connector is in your hand, use a flathead screwdriver to loosen the terminal screws and pull out the communication wires. Then, unscrew the gland nut and pull the entire connector assembly out of the PCU. Repeat this process for every communication wire connected to the PCUs. Inside the PCU, make sure to set the manual mode switch to the on position. Next, check the bar graph indicators inside each power control unit, PCU. Each bar graph should display a consistent reading that matches the selected step. Step 1 should light the first level bar. Each increase in CCR intensity should correspond with an increase in bar graph level. Once all electrical connections have been verified and the CCR is correctly configured, you can now visually inspect the PAPI illumination. Keep in mind that activating the CCR does not automatically energize the entire PAPI system. The primary circuit must be verified and energized through the following steps. Start by turning the CCR to intensity step 1. Observe the output current and ensure it remains stable with no fluctuations. Verify if the CCR provides exact required current output on all steps. Observe the projectors. All units should illuminate steadily with no visible flickering. Allow at least 60 seconds before changing step level to verify stability. Repeat this process for each intensity level, from step 1 through the maximum step, whether that is step 3 or step 5, depending on your system's configuration. Once the manual activation process is verified and all components are operating correctly, you may proceed with control box integration. Connect the communication cables between PCUs. Route each communication cable from one PCU to the next in the correct sequence. Make sure all plugs are fully seated and secured, avoiding any sharp bends or cable strain. Refer to the dedicated communication cable tutorial videos, either for single cable PCU or dual cable PCU, depending on your system configuration, to learn how to correctly connect the communication wires. Verify that Modbus addresses are correctly assigned to each unit. This ensures proper communication across the system. Set the manual mode switch to the off position to allow communication between PAPIs and the control box. Verify that all PCUs in the system are switched correctly to prevent conflicts or overrides. Before connecting the control box, use a multimeter to measure the resistance on the PAPI's RS communication connector located on the PCB. The expected reading should be approximately 120 ohms, with a tolerance of a few ohms. Measure the resistance on all PAPI PCBs. If you detect any irregularities, double-check the communication cable connections between the PAPI units to ensure they are secure and correctly installed. Connect the control box to PAPI Unit A. Ensure the control box is mounted securely and the communication cable is firmly inserted into the correct port. Double-check the connector orientation and that the locking mechanism has clicked into place. Now, after connecting the control box, measure the resistance again at the same RS communication connector. This time, the value should be approximately 60 ohms. Measure the resistance on all PAPI PCBs. If you detect any irregularities, double-check the communication cable connections between the PAPI units to ensure they are secure and correctly installed. For a 5-step configuration, set the CCR to step 4 and monitor both the current and voltage for at least 60 seconds to ensure they remain stable, with no fluctuations. At this step, the current should read 5.2 amps, with an acceptable tolerance of plus or minus 0.1 amps. Use a clamp meter to measure the actual current in the primary circuit and confirm it matches the CCR's display, verifying consistency and stability across both readings. Once connected, check the status LED on the control box. It should flash green every second, indicating normal operation. If the LED shows any red flashes or irregular patterns, refer to the fault code guide which can be found in the installation or maintenance manuals of the PAPI 6.6 amp to troubleshoot the issue before proceeding. After making these changes, power the system back on and recheck all projectors, bar graph indicators, and CCR readings. Verify the CCR is displaying a constant current reading with no fluctuations. Confirm that lights respond as expected to control inputs from the CCR. Confirm the bar graph indicator is responding to CCR intensity changes with no fluctuations or flickering. Ensure no errors are displayed in the control box. If issues occur during activation, refer to the PAPI 6.6 amp user, installation, and maintenance manuals for troubleshooting steps. If the PAPI system is not operating correctly, you may notice unstable behavior, such as inconsistent and fluctuating current readings on the CCR, fluctuating bar graph indicator. These signs suggest a possible wiring issue or incorrect CCR settings. Stop and investigate before continuing operation.